Speaking of Hunter Biden, he is now countersuing John Paul Mac Isaac for invasion of privacy after the computer repair shop owner distributed an abandoned laptop that Hunter's legal team is still refusing to validate. So just to recap, the Biden family can apparently sell access to the highest levels of our government and face zero consequences. But former President Trump might soon face an indictment for a far-fetched campaign finance violation over an alleged payment 7 years ago to a porn star. A state charge for a federal crime. How does that even work? Well, we've got the right legal experts tonight. Fox News is reporting that Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg has requested a meeting with the Secret Service ahead of a potential arrest. Here now with more, Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett and author of Get Trump, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight. Gregg, I want to go to you. You follow the legal pursuit of Donald Trump as close as anybody I know. What's your read? What is going down here? Because it does look like there might be some action on President Trump next week.
Well, it looks like it. And I must say, this is probably the most cockamamie legal theory I've ever heard of. Alvin Bragg, forget the statute of limitations that expired 2 years ago. He is bringing a case against Trump based on a misdemeanor records violation, trying to supercharge it into a felony by citing a second crime. All right, what second crime? Oh, campaign violation. But which? It can't be a state campaign violation because it was a federal election. And it can't be a federal violation because state and local prosecutors can only bring state-driven cases. On top of that, he would have to prove that Trump personally was involved in falsifying records. He would have to prove that Trump understood these convoluted campaign finance laws that nobody understands and then intended to violate those very laws. And finally, he's got to get around the dual purpose doctrine. The law says that if you have a secondary purpose, like a personal or a commercial reason for paying somebody money, then it's not a campaign contribution. And that's been Trump's argument all along. So, this is a case that I doubt very much is going to get past a motion to dismiss.
So, Professor Dershowitz, the Democrats will say, oh, look at all the smoke here. They've been saying that for years and years and years. Oh, look at all the smoke. There must be something wrong. What's your take on it?
There are two systems of justice in the United States, and our justice system is in deep trouble. We've created a special system of justice for Donald Trump. That's why I wrote my book, Get Trump. I document over and over again how different standards apply to Trump, to his lawyers, to his associates, and a system of fair justice can't tolerate that. There is no crime here. Let's be very, very clear. Crime has to be absolutely clear. It was Justice Jackson who once said, any prosecutor can rummage through the statute books and find something against virtually anyone. I think Lavrenti Beria, the head of the KGB, put it more precisely when he said to Stalin, show me the man and I'll find you the crime. That's what's going on here. They have targeted Trump. The Attorney General of New York ran on the campaign, Get Trump. Bragg essentially did the same thing. They rummaged for years to try to find something. They gave immunity to witnesses. They couldn't find a real statute, so they put statutes together. It was Thomas Jefferson who once said that for a criminal statute to be valid, it has to be so clear that you can understand it if you read it while running. Now, I'm sitting, and I've been teaching criminal law for 50 years. I cannot understand this theory. But where I disagree with Jarrett is I don't think there'll be a motion to dismiss that succeeds. This is New York justice. In New York, of course, you can indict a ham sandwich. But in New York, you can also convict a ham sandwich because the jury pool will be very much against Trump and the judges will be very much against Trump. So if I were him, I would be worried today. He'll probably ultimately win on appeal. But do judges today have the courage, if they run for election, as prosecutors run for election, to do something favorable to Trump in a city which overwhelmingly despises Trump? That's what's wrong with this justice system. That's why Bragg shouldn't be asking the question, can I indict? He should be asking the question, Should I indict? And the answer to that question is categorically no.
Hey, I've got to move. I want to move quickly, Greg, because I want to go back to this idea that Hunter Biden is now countersuing the person who released the laptop. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I read the lawsuit. It's silly and frivolous. Hunter Biden claiming that his laptop was misappropriated and his privacy invaded. But in the same breath in the lawsuit, he said, well, it might not actually be my laptop. You cannot sue based on a maybe. That's like saying, oh, my house was damaged. I want to be paid for it. But actually, it might not really be my house. So they'd have to amend this silly complaint to go further. But, you know, on top of that, he cites a one-year law that says property is abandoned after a year. Well, that's true unless there's an agreement, a contract. And he signed a contract saying it's abandoned after 90 days if I don't come get it. But on top of that, throughout the contract, he didn't try to retrieve his own laptop until more than a year. So he didn't even comply with the law that he is citing in his lawsuit. So it is silly and frivolous, but it doesn't surprise me. It's Hunter Biden.
But the
Professor,
surprising
very
thing,
quickly, do you agree with that?
And there'll be a lot of depositions and there'll be a lot of discovery about things regarding other members of his family. When you bring a civil lawsuit, be careful, beware, make sure you have nothing to hide.
Well, this family, I think, probably does have a lot to hide. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Hannity. Do appreciate it.